Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Zenaton, and welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. We got the Ruination event coming up. It's still spoiler season, like mini spoiler season, but still spoiler season in general. Today's video, probably gonna be really short. I said this about yesterday's video, the last video. Uh, Only had like 3 cards yesterday to look at, the 3 Shurima cards. Today we have even less. We only have 2 cards to look at today, so I have no idea how long this video is going to be. Probably only around like 8 or so minutes to do like the intro, outro, and talk about the cards. But we got Noxus cards today. 2 of them, both Minotaurs. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of them, but here they are. I don't think either of these are honestly that playable and constructed from looking at them. Also, I wonder if this means these are the last cards we're getting, because the Ruination event starts on, I believe it's the 14th. Maybe not, but I think that's the right date. It should be next Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, in other words. So I don't know if that means these are the last spoilers until the event on Wednesday and we see like the patch notes on Tuesday like normal, or if we're going to get more card releases over the weekend and maybe even a new champ on Monday or not. I don't think we've heard anything from Riot about that, because I wouldn't mind seeing some nice control cards here is all I'm saying. Basically, give me target cards. Give me some, I don't know, control Ionia cards. I mean, Karma's good and all, but still. Anyway, like I said, I don't think either of these cards are that crazy good. One of them I think is playable. The other one I think is just not terrible, but not playable. The first card we got, Ruined Reckoner. 4 mana, 4/3. When I'm summoned, create a Midnight Raid in hand. Midnight Raid is a 0 mana fleeting slow spell that says an ally starts a free attack. Okay. There's a lot to unpack here. A lot of people are saying this card is nuts, this card is OP, this card is crazy good. No, it's not. I don't know why. I've seen the reasoning why, but I don't understand the reasoning why a lot of people think Ruined Reckoner is free, or is OP. Their reasoning is like free attack is OP. I feel like a lot of people misread Midnight Raid and thought Midnight Raid is a rally. It's not a rally, it's just a free attack. It's just like the Snapjaw Swarm from Lurk. So if a lot of people are thinking Midnight Raid is a rally, sure, I can see why they would say this card's OP, because that would be OP. But it's not. As also, while I don't think this card's bad, I don't think it's amazing. Understated for its cost, 4/3 for 4 is really bad. That's like the stat line of a 3 cost. Yes, it has a really good playability, summon ability, whatever, so you could technically use things like, I don't know, Chronicler to get more and more Midnight Raids, so that's pretty cute. But whatever. Also, no keyword. Cards with no keywords are usually bad. Well, not usually bad, but they need something going for them to be really, really good. And summoning or creating a Midnight Raid is, in my opinion, not good enough. Usually they need to have like a small keyword, a weaker, lesser keyword, kind of think like Fearsome or something. Overwhelm would be pretty good on this. Quick Attack would have some cute synergy. But yeah, without that, I don't think the card is good. Like, let's look at it this way. A lot of people are saying, like, how about in Scouts? Well, here's the problem with Scouts. First off, this card is in Noxus, as are both of these cards. Scouts is kind of soft locked into Bilgewater and Demacia at the moment. In the future, who knows? But if you cut one of those two, you lose something important. You cut Demacia, you lose a lot of your Scouts, and you lose some of your really good combat tricks like Sharp Sight and Ranger's Resolve. You also lose Quinn. You cut Bilgewater, you also lose some Scouts, and you lose probably one of the best reasons to play Scouts, and you lose Misfortune. And the reasoning a lot of people say Scouts is like you can technically use Midnight Raid on a Scout unit to get an attack token, which is cute. And Riven Scouts has not really been a thing, but people have experimented with Riven Scouts. And these two cards are kind of basically like Riven support is how I'm looking at it. Like some kind of Riven action support is how I'm looking at this. Like Ruined Reckoner in an action deck, you use Midnight Raid on action. It helps count down the landmark, whichever one you have on the field. So there's that. But that's all, like all these scenarios and situations I'm talking about, they all feel, in my opinion, weak for a 4-drop. It's like, it's all cute. There's all these like cool little interactions you're doing, but I don't want something cute. I just want a big, nice effect. Like, think like it. Like if you're a more control player, Solari Sunforger. It's boring. It's not complex. It's just a 4-mana Daybreak. 4-mana 5/4 Daybreak gets lifesteal for the turn. Like that's very boring, very simple, but it's what you need. Bakai Sandspinner. 4-mana 5/3 gives something vulnerable and -1/-0. Just what I need. And then of course you have champions like Shyvana, but that's a different card type. Also, I've seen some people just not understand how Riven works, and that's can't really blame them because not many people play Riven. A lot of people saw Midnight Raid and were like, "Oh, every time you cast Midnight Raid, Riven will get a fragment, right? She'll get a shard." No, unless they've changed it, or I'm wrong here, which is not impossible. Riven only gets shards when you get the attack token. She doesn't get shards from free attacks. In other words, she doesn't get shards from things like cataclysms, snapjaw swarms, etc., etc. Now, of course, if you have a Riven on the board and use Midnight Raid on a scout unit, you scout and you'll get an attack token, so you should get a Riven shard, but that's again a lot of work. Maybe like I can see this maybe played as like a 1 or 2 of in a slower pirate deck to try and get a trigger for Misfortune, or if you've somehow leveled up Gangplank to get a Gangplank attack in. But if you've leveled up Gangplank in a pirate aggro deck, you're probably winning the game already, in all honesty. Also, another issue, Midnight Raid itself, it's fleeting. You kind of have to use it right then. You can't save it. You have to have the unit on the field that you want to target right away, or else this card just, well, it's fleeting and it'll go away. I guess you could also argue like you can use it as discard fodder too, sure, I guess, but I feel like there's better cards to use to get discard fodder. But yeah, like just getting a free attack without a good keyword like quick attack or maybe elusive or lifesteal is, in my opinion, not worth a whole card. So, not the biggest fan of Ruined Reckoner, but I can see like niche scenarios, like I've mentioned. I've been talking about it for a lot, but I've mentioned a lot of them, but I can see some niche scenarios where I like Ruined Reckoner. Now, the other Reckoner, Retired Reckoner, I am even lower on this card than the previous one. Retired Reckoner, in my opinion, just kind of sucks, right? Like, okay, let's say like what kind of deck would want Retired Reckoner? You need to target it a lot to get its stats to line up with a average 5-drop, and you want more than average. It has Overwhelm, so that's cute, but I feel like in a deck that's playing Noxus and cares about things that have Overwhelm or wants to have Overwhelm stuff, would rather just play Kato, like Kato the Arm. Much same exact mana cost and pretty much the same. Sure, you need another unit too, but meh. And then you have like, I guess like you can argue like, oh, a gem deck. Like maybe there's a weird action. But then if you put in action, because action also cares about targeting, you can't play target, so you can't get gems because you'll be a Shurima Noxus deck. So maybe like a Taric deck with a Retired Reckoner? I don't know, but like every time you gem him up, that is +2/+0. So that's cute. And it also heals him technically. So maybe a Taric deck with Retired Reckoner. But I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of this. I feel like a Taric deck would rather go into Demacia than Noxus at the moment, because Taric synergizes really well with some of Demacia's spells like Golden Aegis and Sharp Sights and barriers in general. So I don't know. Outside of that, I don't know. Feels like if this card was like maybe a 4 cost, sure, but There is that Ionia card that's a 4-mana 2/6 that grows every time you summon a unit, but that's temporary growth. This is a grant, so it's a permanent buff, but I guess that makes 5 mana fine and fair, but I don't want just fair cards in my constructed decks. I want to do busted stuff. I want to do broken stuff. But yeah, I think this card might see a little play. I don't think it's unplayable, and that's purely because it has the Overwhelm keyword. But I don't know. Also, I've seen some people say, like, you will play this in an action deck, like an action Riven deck. Play this. Here's the thing. If you're playing action, that means you're playing Shurima. If you're playing Shurima in the 5-mana slot, you also have Ruin Runner. Why would I play this card over Ruin Runner? A 5-mana 6/4 with Overwhelm, and it also has Spell Shield on top of that. I don't know. And of course, you can argue like, well, you can play both of them. Sure, but then you're starting to get your deck's getting a little clunky at the 5-mana slot. You don't want to have too many cards that cost the same in the same mana slot. I don't know. It reminds me of the card called Arel the Tracker, I believe. It's also in Noxus. It's the 6-mana 2/5 that says at the end of the round, if you cast a spell on it, she strikes the weakest enemy. It reminds me of that. Just like a mana too much and just a little too slow, and there's just better things you can be doing if you want to do like if you want to play those. I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. I feel like there's just better things you can do in Noxus anyway. I guess like maybe an Arel Retired Reckoner Noxus action Shurima self-target deck potentially could be a thing, but I'm not seeing it. Anyway, though, I've been rambling a lot for these two cards because, again, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but I can see some potential behind them. Anyway, though, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't mention something that you can think of and you can see that makes you a little more positive about these cards and more hyped up for these cards. I'd love to hear it down below in the comments if you have any ideas of how to build these cards or why you think these cards are great. If you just enjoy the video in general, of course, it would mean a lot if you could leave a like or comment down below. Also, if you want to keep up with the Legends of Runeterra content, you can always go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, if you want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, you can always go and check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Zenaton. I stream there pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye!